Well, Asive Ganja is the spokesperson for the South African Union of Students and joins me tonight. Asive, good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. Great to have you in studio. Usually we're speaking to you virtually, so great to be sitting across the table from you. Perhaps the place to begin really is what your expectations of what the next financial year with NSFAS will be. The application process is open now, but it does this, you know, the process is open now while we still have thousands of students that are still waiting for payments that have simply not been made throughout this financial year.
Good afternoon, Kathy, to you and your viewers and your listeners. We are concerned definitely about the state of NSFAS and the 2024 academic year for a few reasons. The first one, the applications have opened very late. That is going to have dire consequences. When applications would open early, we would still see that in the last month or so of applications, there would be a congestion and the system would crash. You can only imagine when the time has been shortened. So we are definitely going to have a crisis there. The apparent systems upgrade that are spoken of, we are also concerned about them. You see, the one thing that NSFAS has always done has always been to say they are improving or changing systems in the face of crisis. So you would have assumed that they would have stabilized the current processes before changing their systems. I can guarantee, as we are speaking here, that we are going to have glitches and serious. If you go, for instance, now on the website to try and apply, normally, for instance, when applications are open, as soon as you go on nsfas.org, there would be a big prompt there and at one click for you to be able to apply. Now you would have to scroll down, you have to look for that application, create accounts and all of those things. So the point is that we do not believe that they have gotten it right and that they're going to get it right. Unfortunately, we are concerned, as you say, that we're sitting with over 70,000 students who went to write exams on empty stomachs, and now they've had to go home without the allowances having been concluded. We've got appeals that have not been concluded, that will not be concluded by the end of this year, and yet we're moving into the next year. All of these things are going to create a backlog in the system, and what we're guaranteed to have is a tumultuous year, especially in the beginning of the year during registration. So
are you saying that it's become a bit more difficult to actually apply for NSFAS, at least from a user perspective with the system online?
From my experience, literally today, when you went, or if anyone would go on the website even now, the tab that was there, that was in your face for you to be able to, because we must appreciate, by the way, that the people that are applying and the students that are applying, some of them, their parents are assisting them, they do not have all of them the same level of command of English and able to understand these systems. So you need to make it as user-friendly as possible. I'm saying last year it was better, but it was not as user-friendly as based on the experience of students. You understand? So, and I'm saying right now what it currently is a regression. What is supposed to be an upgrade is actually a regression. It is going to make it much more difficult. It is just obvious. It's not, you know, it should be common sense that NSFAS and their tech team should have known that because we're in the application process, what must be there in the beginning when students are entering the website, it must be for them to be able to apply, and that is not happening. So those are things for us that make us really, really concerned moving forward.
This afternoon, the Higher Education Minister, Blade Nzimande, was joined by the NSFAS Board Chairperson, Ernest Khoza, on the status of the organization. Do you feel that there has been enough accountability, just off the face of it, between the Department of Higher Education and this entity, and really the failures that this entity has gone through?
You see, when we interrogate the scheme, I am always cautioning that we do it at the level of what happens in boardrooms, and we forget that at the end of the day, the true test of the extent to which NSFAS is successful as an organization must be measured by the experience of the poor and the working class on the ground. All of us here have devices. You can go on TikTok, you can go on WhatsApp, you can go on Twitter. The experience of the students, who is the poor and the working class, is a miserable one. I really don't even understand where the minister musters the confidence to stand proud in front of the camera as if his own communications team is not telling him that the experience of the poor students on the ground is dismal. So I want us to move from that premise that the accountability and the systems that are put in NSFAS, we will know their true extent as to the extent to which they translate to the students on the ground. Right now, for instance, you spend however many hundreds of thousands you've spent on an investigation, you come up with all of the systems, you've replaced board members, and you've done all of these things. But the question is, to what extent are those translating to the students on the ground? So as far as accountability is concerned and the commitment of the minister, for instance, you would think if the minister is committed to turning NSFAS around, he must go to the students, he must just go to the ground, ask them what is the problem, bring the officials with them, so that he's able to pick up these challenges, because he's being misled, because he's not leading the sector in the manner, in the aggressive manner in which he should. He is being misled. What is reporting? There is lies. For instance, they said that they would disperse the allowances for students. Right now, we know we are sitting with thousands of students. It's not even difficult to find. You can go to any institution, you'll find one. It's a guarantee that has not received the allowances since May up until today. They have not received. And yet they said to him, all students are receiving allowances.
Where do you think the disconnect is? Because the minister has asked about this when he does interviews with the media. He's not blind. He reads newspapers. He must be well aware of the challenges that individuals like yourself, that students have been raising. There have been protests on different campuses throughout this financial and academic year, where you've been raising concerns over and over again around the status of NSFAS. So I don't think the minister is blind to those concerns, but why do you think there is no impetus, at least on the part of the higher education department, to truly hold NSFAS accountable? What are the answers that you're getting when you take this issue on?
We don't get serious answers. You know, you really just get the sense that maybe the minister is tired along with his colleagues, because you are correct. They are aware of these issues. Nothing has been done about these issues. For instance, if you listen to today's press briefing about the bank charges that students were complaining about, the minister is telling you what he told you 3 media briefings ago, that no, the board is going to come back to me, we are evaluating this thing of charges, we will see, whilst the students carry on to suffer. For there is no decisiveness from the level of the minister. They said they're going to get rid of those corrupt and incompetent service providers. They are still providing services. Nothing has been done to them. So the point is that the minister does not want to lead the sector, it would appear, because he knows these things, and the people that are leading are incompetent. He knows that they're incompetent. We've been with the minister, we've done a walkabout at NSFAS last year. When we went to the people in the call center did not know what was happening. We knew more about what is happening at NSFAS than the people at the call center. The minister was there, we were there with the minister. The minister is aware of that, and these are the people that are supposed to interact with our students when they call in at NSFAS. So it's not that the minister is not aware. This is why in our previous statement we said maybe the president needs to intervene, because if the president does not intervene, we are going into elections next year. That ground could be fertile ground for people to use it and exploit the challenges of students to cause instability for whatever political gain they might have. So we are really concerned about the state of higher education in South Africa.
Yes. I'm going to ask you to wrap it up with this question. What happens to those students that have finished the year off without receiving any of their payouts? They must be in a very bad state financially, but also I imagine the anxiety around what happens next year.
It is very unfortunate, actually, because what is almost guaranteed is that they are not going to perform well academically because they do not have the support. Then NSFAS is going to say, no, they are kicking them out because they did not meet the minimum. So this is the impact of it, is that they will probably lose funding because they will not have performed well. Some of them, as to the direct impact, the immediate impact, could not go home because they use those allowances to buy their bus tickets. We got hundreds of them that were stranded at their institutions because they could not go home. That is what is happening. We have asked the NSFAS and the department what is to happen with those students whom their appeals have not been concluded. The year has come to an end. What will happen to the students that have not received their allowances? And quite honestly, there is no clear indication as to what will happen. So there is really a lapse and a lack of leadership.
The entire thing is just unfortunate and disgraceful, I might add.
Absolutely.
It's leaving these students absolutely in the lurch.